Couple quick things. The first one is, who do you think's the worst pundit on the air right now?
Content creator.
Who's the
worst content creator?
You're right. Pundits even not too even a fucking. They don't even deserve the word.
Content creators.
I mean, I would.
Who's the one that like pisses you off the most?
Off my head, I would say like Joy Reid, Don Lemon, and then like Rachel Maddow. But kind of like I don't really watch, and when I do, they're like a parody of what I would think they are doing. Like, they're like Charlottesville, you know, like and then they're like, I forget the one time they're like Ukraine collusion, and I'm like, they said it all within a minute. I felt like they took every buzzword that I would think left wingers are saying and just threw it in together. Like the Ukraine collusion might literally be Charlottesville, you know, January 6th reincarnate. I'm like QAnon shaman, and I'm like, damn, like within 2 minutes she hit every time. I'm like, people watch this for an hour. I got everything I needed to know.
Man, I know.
I guess that's if you watch like Tucker is like, or whatever, one of those guys is like, all right, critical race theory, like immigration, whatever.
I will tell you the one thing that's so crazy. Someone posted this I saw on Twitter, but like it is just so insane. So the Waukesha thing, whatever, with the guy drove the car in the market, and like, you know, all these people are like, CNN is reporting.
You were saying you were pumped about it, right?
Yeah. So, quite. But CNN was quite. But CNN was like,
so
reporting.
What happened again?
This dude basically like drove his car into fucking market, killed all these people, injured Christmas parade. Sorry, not market.
Yeah.
Killed all these people or whatever, and then
Wakanda it was right.
What?
It was Wakanda was the place
that he drove it.
Is that not it?
Waukesha.
Oh, sorry.
Wakanda. Right. But anyways, like, on like 4chan and like, you know, just these random, like the quartering, this dude, you know, he was posting like, here's this guy's name, here's where he lives, here's his background, here's his Facebook, blah, blah, blah. And CNN's like, we have no information. And you're like, so you're at the point where like, I'm getting all the news from fucking straight up just like YouTubers and like Twitter guys. And then CNN is like just making all this shit up, and like, they don't have any of this information. You're like, how are regular people figuring this stuff out? And you're like, isn't this your job?
Because they're just lying. Like they said he might be fleeing from a knife incident that turned out.
Yeah, that was true.
Like it's just like a PR team. It would be like if Alec Baldwin, you know, you're his PR guy. You're like, let's see how we could turn this. And then they're saying it was like a mistake or an accident or a crash, and it's like they made it just seem like it wasn't.
Well, they're like trying to essentially just be like, here's all potential explanations of like why this could have been an accident.
Right.
Like, why are you instantly being like, maybe this is an accident? Like, why does it even matter if it's an accident or not? You're like, this is what happens, and if you get more information, you can report on it.
It's pure propaganda, and it's something that I don't know if the news was always like this because I never watched, but after like the Trump era and the way that they came down on it, now they have no shame. Like with the Rogan thing, you know, he got really upset because he's like, you know, I know about this drug, you might not like it, but this is what they don't care. They just don't care. You know, they'll push any narrative, but... Yeah, those three I think are like the worst, and Brian Stelter's the funniest to me because he's just like
that guy's. He's pretty in your face with like lying, right?
He just like it seems like just seems like a little guy up there. Like, I don't know. He's just like funny to me.
He's had this thing recently where he brings people on that basically to shit talk him to his face. So like, he'll be like, so what's wrong with me? And then they tell him. And then they like tell him, and he goes,
right.
Oh, it's just your opinion.
You freaking suck. And he's just like, okay. He's like, I'll think about it. Like, I saw that clip. I was like, damn, who was it? But they destroyed him right to his face.
Yeah, it's been a few people, and he goes, and they're like, you're literally what's wrong with America. And he goes, that's your opinion.
That's your opinion, bud. Who do you think's the worst like the Fox guy? Who's the worst one?
On Fox or
just like right wing guy, period. Bill O'Reilly is my all-time worst.
He's gone.
Like. He's hilarious. But I would say Tucker, I think, is like an independent thinker and will do stuff. Hannity, I think, definitely rode the Trump train. You know what I'm saying? And like kind of just latched on. So I remember if there's a war, he's for it. But then Trump's around now, he's against it. So I trust Tucker, I think, more than Hannity. To be honest, I don't watch Fox enough. I think it's funny when Judge Jeanine just screams at people. They're like, they bring on like Geraldo Rivera and they're just screaming. Or, you know what? Maria Bartiromo, too. She's like, Trump, what do you think about that? I'm like, dude, people watch this stuff. Like, I'm sure she's a nice lady, but she literally just screams in this high-pitched voice.
Geraldo like doesn't like Trump, right? Like that was his thing. He kind of came back and was never Trump.
A few of them were. They weren't all. I don't think.
Isn't it? But Geraldo, that's his thing, right?
Like he's like people that they put like Geraldo or like I think it was like Juan Williams. Like,
but he's like a hardcore left-wing guy, right? Like that's just
and they'll bring him on just to fight. And I don't like people fighting, but like I mean, if it happens and it's funny, but like I don't know, it just gets loud, and I feel like
you're like, I could go to my family dinner if I want to hear this shit.
Yeah, I like to chill out and listen to something calm, because then it kind of stresses me out, right? If you got a high-pitched lady screaming at a guy, like, I don't, they're like, I'm like, I could probably get this information somewhere else on a podcast. Like,